A sharp pulse of static cuts through the air, freezing every breath in the council chamber. Monitors flicker violently. A voice, neither male nor female but distorted ancient, declares, "They're already here." In that second, time stutters. The delegates look around in confusion. Then the walls vibrate with a high-frequency hum. The ceiling flickers. Lights dim. Through every speaker, a garbled alien transmission floods the room. A chorus of inhuman syllables buried in layered encryption. It's not noise. It's a message. The protagonist, Commander Rayna Locke, stares at the display, jaw clenched, eyes wide. Her blood runs cold. Something about the signal reaches through the machine, through sound, and presses directly on her chest. It's not pain, but recognition. Then a second voice whispers, "We've been waiting for you." In that instant, silence slams down. Chairs scrape. Guns draw. And across the galaxy, sensors flare red. Humanity just got noticed. Outside the council chamber, the world begins to fracture. Panic spreads like wildfire. On city streets, people gather around massive public screens as the transmission leaks. Broadcasts cut mid-report. News anchors fall silent, replaced by static and cryptic pulses of sound. Rayna exits the chamber with urgency in her stride, escorted by security drones. Her eyes scan the sky. Dark clouds swirl unnaturally above the capital. Something is coming, and it's coming fast. The encrypted signal continues to pulse through every network, hijacking satellites and bypassing firewalls with impossible precision. Government officials try to contain it, but the world has already seen too much. As Rayna steps into the open air, she says under her breath, "They didn't come here to talk." And for the first time in decades, global defense systems awaken with a scream. Rayna is rushed into the war room, a subterranean facility layered in black steel and humming with urgency. Massive screens display the signal now detected in every major city. Analysts shout over one another, trying to trace its source, but the signal appears to come from everywhere and nowhere. A grizzled admiral slams his fist on the console. This was never supposed to happen. Rayna steps forward, demanding full access to restricted archives. This wasn't an accident. Someone triggered it. Eyes narrow. Accusations stir. A younger operative stammers. The encryption matches Project Veil. Silence falls. Everyone turns to Rayna. She freezes. She knows that name. And that's when she realizes. They knew this was coming. Her presence here, none of it was chance. A classified recording plays. Decades-old footage, grainy, time-stamped, and deeply unsettling. A small alien craft, barely more than a pod, recovered from the Arctic Circle. Inside, humanoid remains, genetically human, but with distinctly non-terrestrial features. A voice narrates subject DNA shows crossover anomalies. This isn't from Earth. Rayna watches in stunned silence as her father's voice, a voice she hasn't heard since she was 12, speaks in the background of the footage. This one's different. This one's connected. Her breath catches. They knew about the aliens long before today. And somehow, her family was involved. In the corner of the room, the council physician stares at her, not with suspicion, but with pity. Back in her quarters, Rayna paces in silence. Her father's voice echoes in her mind. The message was meant for someone. For her. She studies the waveform on her private console, the alien transmission. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, a pattern begins to emerge. It's not random. It's a code. Her heartbeat syncs with the pulses, as if her body is somehow attuned to the frequency. Then a phrase forms on screen, decrypted from the alien signal. The blood remembers. She stares, breath shallow. A childhood memory surfaces, her father warning her never to ignore the stars. Now she understands why. She was never just a soldier. She was a signal. The global network is in freefall. Satellites drop offline one by one. Entire cities lose communication. Governments scramble to reassure the public, but fear is metastasizing. Rayna stands at the edge of a government command deck, watching a live feed from Buenos Aires, where the sky above the skyline flickers with shifting geometric anomalies. Civilian panic erupts. "They're cloaking," she mutters. A junior officer approaches, whispering, "Ma'am, someone's trying to access your encrypted files remotely." Her pulse spikes. She storms out, racing to her quarters. Whoever is trying to dig into her past is already inside the system. Meanwhile, in a shadowy corridor, a cloaked figure moves silently, bypassing retinal scanners with ease. The breach isn't foreign. It's internal. And it's coordinated. Rayna doesn't know who to trust anymore, and the ones closest to her may be the greatest threat. Rayna slams her hand on the biometric lock and bursts into her quarters. The console flickers, already hacked. A message lingers on the screen. "We warned you. Surveillance logs have been wiped." The door behind her slides shut on its own. She turns, hand on her sidearm. But no one is there. Her breath hitches as lights dim to emergency red. Ow. Suddenly, a visual of her father appears, pre-recorded, his face older than she remembered. "If you're seeing this, it's already begun," he says. "Your name, your assignment, it's all a construct. They hid the truth in your DNA." She stares, disbelief tightening her throat. The video ends abruptly. Her reflection in the blank screen looks foreign now. Ow. A soldier forged from secrets. And someone has just pulled the thread. In a hidden sublevel deep beneath the Capitol, Rayna and two trusted operatives descend into a forgotten records vault. Dust-laden walls, rusted data terminals, and the stale air of abandoned knowledge surround them. "This place was sealed after the last incident," one whispers. "No one comes here anymore." Rayna accesses an analog drive marked Veil A0, a direct reference to the project that triggered her father's last mission. The file decrypts slowly, revealing schematics and transcripts between high-level officials and alien counterparts. Her hand trembles as she scrolls. There were meetings, agreements, biological experimentation. This wasn't a war brewing. It was a partnership that soured. "We were never invaded," Rayna says coldly. "We were groomed." Inside the vault, alarms suddenly blare. Someone tripped the silent perimeter. "We're not alone," one operative mutters. Before they can react, the power cuts. Pitch black, dead. A faint pulse of violet light flickers at the far end of the corridor. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, echo in the dark. Rayna lifts her weapon, the only source of sound her own breathing. Then, a distorted voice speaks. "You shouldn't have come here." A tall figure steps into the light, human in shape, but wrong in posture and gaze. It doesn't blink. "I remember you," it hisses. Rayna freezes. It's not just an infiltrator. It knows her. In the flash of a muzzle flare, it lunges, faster than any human. Chaos explodes. This was a trap. They were expected. Gunfire erupts. Sparks fly. The creature absorbs damage like it's shrugging off rain. One of Rayna's operatives is taken down instantly, throat crushed in silence. Rayna orders a retreat, blood splattering the walls as they flee through collapsing steel corridors. "Seal the vault behind us," she yells. The doors groan shut, locking with a seismic clang. Back in the main corridor, sirens scream as soldiers converge. But the thing is gone, vanished. "We're dealing with a mole," Rayna tells command later. "Something not bound by our rules." She examines the injured operative's body, the bones shattered from within, not outside. "It knew me," she whispers again, the memory of its voice clawing at her sanity. The true invasion has already begun, from inside. Rayna sits in the debriefing room, blood still drying on her collar. Across from her, Counselor Voss, a veteran of classified operations, watches in silence. "Why was there no warning?" she demands. Voss doesn't blink. "There was. You just weren't cleared to hear it." He slides a file across the table. Operation Eclipse. Rayna flips it open. Photos, transcripts and footage showing alien-human hybrids embedded in world governments for over 2 decades. They were never coming. They were already here, Voss says coldly. Rayna's voice cracks. And you let them operate unchecked? Voss shrugs. Some of them are more human than we are. Rayna pushes back her chair. You partnered with monsters. Voss replies, no, we became them. In that moment, Rayna realizes the betrayal runs deeper than politics. It's existential. This wasn't infiltration. It was evolution by design. Later that night, Rayna breaks into the off-grid compound of an old ally, Ellis Carr, former intelligence tactician turned whistleblower. The compound is buried in a canyon, off all networks. Ellis opens the door, weapon drawn. I thought you were dead, he says. I thought I was, Rayna answers. Inside, shelves of paper records, cassette files, and analog servers hum faintly. Everything digital is compromised, he explains. They dive into decades of buried material. Photos of secret councils, biological schematics, and personnel lists, including Rayna's mother, declared dead during childbirth. Ellis watches her carefully. They lied about your mother, he says. She wasn't lost, she defected. Rayna grips the table's edge. Her family tree wasn't broken. It was buried. And her mother didn't run from something. She ran toward it. Rayna pores over an old audio tape. Her mother's voice, distorted but clear. They'll never let you become who you are. That's why they erased me. Static follows. The message ends. Silence sits heavy. Outside, the winds howl through the canyon. Ellis pulls a curtain aside, revealing a hidden panel behind the wall. Inside, a cryopod. This is why they kept her off the grid. She's not dead, he says. The pod holds a woman in stasis, identical features to Rayna, just older, peaceful, untouched by time. Rayna can barely breathe. She was part of the original Veil experiment, a bridge between species, Ellis continues. And they failed to control her. Rayna touches the glass. Everything she was taught, about her birth, her blood, her role, was fabricated. And the one woman who could explain it all is frozen in silence. Rayna and Ellis argue deep into the night. You can't wake her, he says. She's connected to the hive. If she wakes up, they'll know. Rayna grits her teeth. Then, we find a way to block them. But Ellis warns her. Too many pieces are already in motion. There's a mole in the upper council. You've been fed just enough to keep you moving, and off target. Rayna pauses. She recalls Voss's cold detachment. He knew. Maybe he is the mole. Ellis hands her an analog device. Take this to the outer colonies. There's one place left untouched. Off the grid. Rayna looks at the coordinates. It's a deep space outpost built decades ago and abandoned. It's where it started, Ellis says. And maybe where it ends. Rayna nods. She's not just chasing answers now. She's hunting truth with teeth. Rayna leaves before dawn. The desert sky is still black, stars like pinpricks in fabric. She rides a silent hovercraft across the rocky expanse, wind whipping past. Behind her, the bunker fades into shadow. Ahead, an old military shuttle awaits on a lone landing pad, dust-caked and blinking its last operational light. She boards silently. As the engines fire, Rayna looks back once, toward Earth, toward her past. Then forward. To the stars, and the legacy she didn't choose but now owns. In the cockpit, she places her hand on the analog guidance system. No AI, new. No tracking. Just her and the void. Let's finish what they started, she mutters. As the shuttle lifts, the stars seem to bend around her. This isn't just a mission. It's her inheritance. And someone, something, is waiting out there. The shuttle emerges from hyperspace into the debris-strewn void, near outpost, Theta 7. Once a deep space research colony, now a forgotten carcass orbiting a dead moon. Rayna stares out the cockpit window. Solar panels shredded, hull cracked, blinking lights barely alive. No transmission. No life signs. But as she approaches, her console flickers. Signal detected. Genetic match confirmed. The ship docks with a harsh clang. The moment she steps inside, a soft female voice, her own voice, slightly older, echoes, "Welcome back." Rayna draws her weapon. Dust hangs in 0G. Every corridor hums faintly, like the station remembers her. She passes a wall of names etched into the metal, each a member of Project Veil. At the bottom is her mother's name, and her own, listed under initiated at birth. Her knees buckle. She was never chosen. She was made. Inside Delta 7, emergency lights flicker in slow rhythmic pulses. Rayna moves through the hollow corridors with weapon drawn. The air is thick with dormant silence. Along the walls, faded project murals, biometric scan stations, and embedded birth data. She enters the medical lab, and the room scans her presence automatically. Machines power on with ancient groans. A central console loads an encrypted video. On screen, her mother speaking directly to her. "They split us so you'd never know the truth," she says. Project Veil wasn't about contact. It was about convergence. Files cascaded across the interface. Dozens of hybrid subjects, timelines, and DNA sequences cross-referencing Rayna as the anchor. The genetic keystone to something larger. "You are the bridge," her mother says. "They'll come for you. Not to kill, to control." Rayna steps back, dizzy. The future isn't invasion. It's integration. And she's the fuse. An explosion rocks the outer hull. Lights go red. Rayna instinctively grabs her gear. The station's long-dormant defense systems begin activating, tracking something outside. Through the observation deck's shattered glass, she sees them. 3 cloaked transport ships descending silently onto the far docking ring. No insignia. No lights. No sound. A boarding party. She rushes to seal internal doors. "They didn't wait long," she mutters. But as she activates a lockdown, a voice whispers through the intercom, her own voice again, slightly distorted. "You are not alone." Suddenly, secondary systems unlock and open alternate corridors. Cameras shift to follow her. The station isn't just a relic. It's aware. It's guiding her. And whoever is boarding, the station intends to confront them. Not as a weapon. As a witness. Something long buried is waking up. Rayna descends into the sealed core of the station, guided by an unseen intelligence manipulating lighting and pressure seals. The walls shift subtly, not physically, but perceptually, as if the station is altering her environment to control emotional stimuli. She arrives at the central chamber. Inside, holographic figures await, projections of the original architects of Project Veil. Not recordings. Live feeds. "This is not a confrontation," one says. "It's an inheritance." Rayna demands answers. "You." One projection, an elder hybrid responds, "You were bred as a stabilizer. A singularity. Our war failed. You are what remains." Her hands tremble. "You want me to lead?" They nod. "We want you to survive. Everything else is optional." As the ships dock above, Rayna realizes she's not here to fight. She's here to choose a future no one's ready for. The boarding team breaches the outer level, armored, faceless, and eerily silent. They expect resistance. Instead, they find the corridors empty. Then lights flicker, doors seal, and gravity fails. The station turns on them. Rayna watches from the control chamber. She could escape. But instead she speaks into the intercom. "You came to collect. You came too late." She activates the station's neural core, linked to her DNA. Instantly, the intruders collapse, overwhelmed by psychic resonance. Their helmets crack under pressure. One reaches for the wall, blood trickling from his nose. In that moment, Rayna feels everything. Their confusion, their orders, their fear. She doesn't kill them. The station does, because it remembers. And now, so does she. As the last body drops, Rayna whispers, "I am the anchor." The line between human and other is gone. She has crossed it. The Theta 7 station falls into eerie stillness. Above, Earth Command detects Rayna's breach of containment protocols and immediately brands her rogue. They dispatch an elite recovery unit, Project Cerberus, tasked with retrieval or termination. Back inside the station, Rayna stands before the cryocore, her mother's pod now pulsing with light. "I need answers," she says aloud. As if in response, the pod begins to thaw. Steam rises. The air grows thick with psychic resonance. Her mother's eyes flicker open, vivid, unblinking. "Rayna," she whispers. "They're coming." But not Irv's team. Not yet. The hybrids, the true architects, have received the signal. They are awakening across the void. Rayna turns to the console. There's no more denying it. She's the center, the trigger. And now she must decide. Submit to the legacy or reject it completely. Time is gone. All that remains is choice. As her mother fully awakens, Rayna stands frozen, torn between instinct and longing. "They made you forget me," her mother says, stepping out of the pod slowly. "You were built to end what I couldn't." Rayna shakes her head, voice cracking. "And what?" Her mother places a hand on Rayna's chest. "The collapse. The convergence. The undoing of what makes us human." She explains the hybrids weren't invaders. They were created by human ambition, crossbred for superiority, then discarded when control was lost. The war never ended. It went underground. They need a vessel with both lines. You're it. Rayna steps back. Her body trembles, not from fear, but rage. "Then we burn it down." Her mother smiles faintly. "You'll have to burn more than that." Above them, long-range sensors flare. Multiple signatures inbound. The final players have arrived. Earth's response team reaches the outer perimeter of Theta 7. Project Cerberus, 6 of the deadliest genetically augmented soldiers ever produced, launches with surgical precision. Inside, Rayna and her mother head toward the station's neural bridge. "They'll see you as compromised," her mother warns. "Let them." Rayna removes her rank insignia and tosses it aside. The neural bridge is a living machine, wired into her DNA. As she steps inside, the station hums. Lights flare. The door locks behind them. Cerberus breaches within seconds, silent, brutal, methodical. They find only corridors, empty, misleading. One operative mutters, "She is using the station against us." Above, the station's orbit begins to shift. "She's locking us into position," Command warns. They still think it's about a target. They don't realize it's about transformation. Rayna isn't fighting for survival. She's preparing to rewrite the battlefield. Cerberus reaches the neural bridge. They prepare to breach when the floor shifts. A pulse ripples through the station. One operative seizes up, his cybernetic implants frying. Rayna speaks through the station's comms, "You shouldn't have come." Each word is laced with resonance. Another soldier collapses, convulsing. Cerberus falters, unprepared for psychic warfare. Rayna steps forward, her body illuminated by the living core. Her mother at her side. "This isn't about you," she says. "It never was." She presses her hand to the interface. Neural fire surges outward, knocking Cerberus back. Screams echo. Helmets shatter. One operative, Agent Danner, remains standing, his hand shaking. "Rayna, we trained together." Her voice is calm. "Then you should have known I wouldn't follow orders forever." The light swallows the room. And in that moment, the war pivots, not with bullets, but with memory and code. In the aftermath, silence. Cerberus is neutralized. Earth Command loses contact with Theta 7. Across the solar system, encrypted signals begin to pulse, originating from Rayna. She's no longer broadcasting on military channels. She's using a hybrid frequency, one tied to ancient codes buried in planetary defense satellites. Earth scrambles. She's overriding our command grid, someone shouts. But Rayna isn't seizing power. She's decoupling it, freeing systems, disarming triggers. The war machines built in secrecy begin shutting down, one by one. From the neural bridge, Rayna addresses every world government. You called this treason. I call it release. Her mother watches, silent and proud. Rayna stares into the feed. You can't enslave what you no longer control. One final command leaves the system. Veil terminated. The hybrids, the council, the factions, none of it survives what comes next. The galaxy holds its breath. Earth's orbital fleet, unaware of what truly happened on the Theta 7, begins final approach. No signals, no resistance, all systems silent, one admiral reports. But that silence is the signal. Below, Rayna stands alone on the exterior platform of the station, looking out at the fleet. Her mother remains within the neural bridge. They're coming to finish this, Rayna says, wind whipping her coat. The station lights flicker, in sync with her breath. She lifts a small crystalline node, an override key forged from hybrid tech and human code. One press would unleash the neural cascade she now controls. Not to destroy, but to awaken. This isn't revenge, she whispers. It's revelation. The sky begins to shimmer. The decision hangs like a blade over history. The moment of choice has come, not for war, but for transformation. What will humanity become? Inside Earth's flagship, Admiral Corden watches Theta 7 through a glass command wall. We assume hostiles, he orders. But something changes. Ship interfaces begin rewriting themselves. One by one, officers report strange readings. DNA locks disengaging, encrypted orders dissolving mid-code. It's her, someone says. Rayna's presence is felt through the systems like a heartbeat. Corden orders weapons charged. But the cannons stay silent. Override denied, says the ship's IY. By who? Corden roars. The screen flickers, revealing Rayna's face. She doesn't speak. She just stares, calm, resolute. Behind her, the stars swirl unnaturally. The fleet prepares for war, but their machines no longer obey. Rayna hasn't attacked them. She's rewritten their understanding of control. They haven't lost their firepower. They've lost the illusion of command. For the first time, the machines listen to someone else. Back in the neural bridge, Rayna watches countless systems sync to her presence. Earth's grid, Mars colonies, asteroid relays, they're all connected now. But her power is not unchecked. The hybrids, the ancient architects, are waking up. Far beyond the solar system, a cluster of vessels, long dormant, activate. Their designs are older than any known fleet. Organic, monumental, alien, and elegant. The source is moving, her mother says quietly. They've heard your voice. These are not soldiers. They are judges. Beings who've watched civilizations rise and fall. They will come to test you, her mother warns. To see if you are worthy of what comes next. Rayna stares at the map, tight pull. The vessels aren't just approaching, they are aligning. Not for invasion. For reckoning. Then we'll meet them, Rayna says, voice steady. Not as weapons, as proof. Rayna begins transmitting a message, not just to Earth, but to all colonies, outposts, and networks still listening. This is not a rebellion, she declares. This is a recall. She explains the truth, the hybrid programs, the lies of leadership, the betrayal of bloodlines. She reveals the shadow war that never ended, and the evolution they tried to suppress. You were never powerless, she says. They only made you forget. As her message spreads, civil unrest breaks out on Mars, Europa, even within Earth's own bunkered elite. Networks fracture as truths flood in. Rayna watches, unflinching. She's not sparking chaos. She's returning memory. The systems that held you hostage are gone, she says. Now you must choose what to become. In that moment, somewhere deep in space, the first of the alien judges changes course, toward Earth. The sky above Earth burns with streaks of fire, not weapons but vessels descending with precision and grace. The judges have arrived. People flood rooftops, deserts, oceansides, watching as the impossible becomes real. The council collapses, governments dissolve into silence. In the neural bridge, Rayna stands waiting. Her mother places a hand on her shoulder. What happens now? Rayna asks. You ask your question, she replies. The judges do not speak with sound. They broadcast emotion, vast, ancient, and overwhelming. Rayna steps forward, opens the neural channel, and asks only one thing. Silence. Then, warmth. A connection deeper than language. Understanding. Not approval. Not denial. Just truth. The station lights dim. Across the world, machines stop. For the first time in centuries, humanity listens. The next step won't be a battle. It will be a choice. The planet does not erupt. It exhales. As the alien vessels hover silently in Earth's upper atmosphere, no weapons fire. No declarations. Just presence. Rayna watches from the observation ring aboard, Theta 7. They didn't come to end us, she whispers. They came to see who we are. Across the globe, the silence speaks louder than any war cry. In the ruins of old government chambers, civilians lead. In orbit, Earth's fleet floats idle, still online, but unwilling to act. The judges are not a threat. They are a mirror. Rayna's mother stands beside her, gaze distant. They're listening, she says. Now the question is, will we speak with honesty? Rayna's hands rest on the railing. She's no longer a commander. No longer an experiment. She is a witness to what comes next. And it starts not with conquest, but with clarity. From orbit, Rayna begins broadcasting again. Not orders, but stories. Testimonies from hybrid survivors, declassified footage from Project Veil, recorded memories from those who lost their identities to manipulation. The world watches. People cry, riot, kneel, and cheer in unison. It's not just truth, it's release. And in that release, people begin building. Not cities or weapons, but councils, conversations, new frameworks. Rayna doesn't frame herself as a savior. I'm not here to lead, she says. I'm here to remind you that no one else will. The alien vessels orbit patiently, not intervening, simply bearing witness. Humanity is left to rise, or fall, on its own terms. For once the universe isn't asking Earth to survive. It's asking it to be honest with itself. The reckoning is over. The rebuilding begins. In a hidden recess of the neural archive, Rayna discovers something left behind, her father's final entry. We didn't fail you, his voice says. We failed to prepare the world for you. The footage shows her as a child, eyes curious, reaching toward the stars. Her mother steps into frame, younger, softer, hopeful. We hid you not out of shame, her father continues, but to give you a choice no one gave us. Rayna stares at the recording, heart breaking and mending in the same breath. The people she thought abandoned her had protected her the only way they could. And now, their burden is hers to carry forward, or let go. She places the archive drive back into its housing and closes the panel. She doesn't need their guidance anymore. Their love was enough. The alien vessels begin to rise, slowly, silently, returning to the stars. No message. No ultimatum. Just a shift, as if the exam is over, and the results accepted. Across Earth, people stand in fields, on rooftops, by oceans, and watch the lights disappear into the black. Rayna stands on the Theta 7's outer hull, helmetless under the station's artificial shield, eyes locked on the stars. Her mother joins her. So, what now? Rayna asks. Her mother smiles. Now you live in a world that knows. And that's it. No grand finale. Just understanding. Rayna watches until the last ship vanishes. Then she turns, quiet resolve in her step. The end never came. The lie did. Now truth walks freely. And with it, possibility. This isn't a finish line. It's the starting breath of a species finally awake. Rayna walks alone down a long corridor inside Delta 7, the lights low, the silence whole. No alarms. No threats. Just the soft hum of a station that has fulfilled its purpose. Her reflection follows her in the glass. For the first time it feels like her own. She pauses by the exit hatch, places her hand on the biometric lock, then stops. She looks up at the camera, knowing someone, somewhere, is still watching. The truth has a price, she says softly. And I paid it. The door opens. Light floods in. She steps forward, but not toward war. Toward something new. Behind her, the station powers down. Above Earth, its shadow lingers. Below, people rebuild. Somewhere in deep space, other watchers take note. And in the final silent beat, one last glyph pulses on the station wall. Cycle 1 complete.